Right, this week's Ask GMBN, we will try and answer your questions. Hopefully they're not too hard. Have you looked at them this week?
I've seen one that's really hard, Neil, that I think I'm going to leave to you.
All right, let's start with Rip Trippy. Can y'all make a video about why mountain bikes cost as much as dirt bikes? For the price of a lot of mountain bikes, you can buy a dirt bike that has 10 times the amount of moving components and way beefier suspension. It makes zero sense to me. I've heard that 100 times.
I've heard this a lot of. Just the amount of research that goes into mountain biking, as well as into motorbikes. But mountain bikes have been, I feel like they're a little bit more techier.
It's a good point. I recently saw the new Panigale V4, and it's 14 grand for the base model.
There you go. Base model, that is.
But you could buy, a Specialized that costs almost as much as that.
But that's not base model, is it?
No, that's your top one. But think about what goes into those bikes. It's crazy. Yeah, I think it's like economies of scale, to the research and development that goes into mountain bikes. It's still a huge amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the question that I'd love to actually ask like an industry insider. Because I know
both parts.
Yeah, I know everyone wants to.
Or automotive and in cycling.
But then I did see I used to have a KTM EXCF 350, and the new one of those was it 9 grand? Or maybe I'm wrong, 7 or 9. It's quite a lot of money. I thought that's gone up since I bought one last. It's quite expensive.
It is expensive, but it is a question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Road cycling is even worse.
True. Yeah, all those triathlon bikes, they cost loads of money.
Insane amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Zabados Balint. Hi guys, I've got a Canyon Stride from 2019. I got one of those.
I've got one of those.
Can I put a coil shock in it? Thanks. You can.
You can. Henry's done one.
He has.
He has.
Basically, most sort of enduro bikes you can, but you have to check if they've got enough room, and Canyon sell that bike, the Stride, and they say, yes, you can, definitely. I think some of their races probably do. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, you can.
You can.
Chuck it on there. It will make the bike feel like a mini downhill bike. It's like small bump sensitivity of those coil shocks. I mean, I need to try it out.
I need to try it. Question
from Jorge X. Why do modern forks have a tapered head tube, and why don't downhill forks have a tapered head tube? Tapers from 1 1/2 at the bottom up to 1 1/8 at the top.
Yeah. Neil, do you know why?
I think so.
So with the downhill fork, basically you don't really need that because it's going to distribute all those forces throughout the bottom crown and the top one. All that there is going to distribute it all nicely. Now when it comes to a single crown on a enduro bike or a hardtail, you need to distribute all that force throughout the bike without making that bike really heavy. So when you're putting a bigger 1.5 inches on the bottom, it's making that a lot stronger but cutting down the weight.
That's going to take most of the load, isn't it?
It is. It takes
race.
That one takes all the load, whereas the top one takes away all the flex, what the fork's trying to do, which you don't really need that much there. But on the bottom, it does.
Makes sense.
There you go. That's
I remember when head tubes were all 1 inch.
I remember that too.
Well, they start off 1 inch until you overlise, then they start getting bigger and bigger.
Dirt jump bikes, I went through a few frames, Neil.
Yeah. Right, Jerry Mackinnon, I think I've said that right. I've been wondering, where do all the used pro bikes go? Like, there must be thousands of bikes they just don't use anymore. Well, it's a bit of extra cash, I would say.
Yeah, I used to sell all my old ones.
In my pro days, at the end of the year, you would sell them. I sold a lot of bikes to friends or friends of friends rather than advertise them. People would be like, I want that bike at the end of the year. Yeah. And it would go that way. But yeah, they get recycled.
They do get recycled.
Yeah, and a bit of extra cash in those pros' pockets. So, if you fancy one of the pros' bikes, I would get in touch with them. Why not?
Sorry for ours. You can't have ours.
No, we don't. We have to give them back.
We have to give them back.
Bruce McNeil, what is the purpose of visors on a mountain bike helmet? Mine simply obscures the view. Run it higher.
Run it higher. Yeah, that there is to eliminate all the glare from the sun on a day. Like if you see motocross riders, they have extra longer ones, or can cut away the mud or dirt that's in front from motorbikes or the sun.
I would argue mostly now it's because it looks good.
Or if you're Nikolai Rogak and you just don't wear one anyway.
It doesn't look good. I think it is a lot to do with fashion. You don't necessarily need it, but then that's what roadies don't have peaks. So that's what differentiates us from roadies. You have a peak.
Yeah, that's it. Or if you're mine, trials riders have peaks.
True. Check out a bit of Hank from GCN riding a mountain bike without a peak.
Nomadic's got a question, Neil. Can you please do some more tips and tricks for entry-level XC, especially for beginners? Type of bikes you need, what skills needed, and how to get better.
Definitely. Actually got a couple in the pipeline, so coming up just before Christmas, maybe just after, on just those topics. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled on the channel. David Alexander Wilhelmi says, hi guys, I have a problem with my Magura MT5 brakes. Whenever I use them, they kind of stutter. Seems like they skip parts of the rotor. I tried cleaning the rotor and pads with alcohol, but that didn't change anything. Any advice on how to fix this? Skipping. So you can hear that sound, you know, when the brakes sort of, like warble a little bit, where they're going over the vents in the pads. Doesn't necessarily mean they're skipping.
Yeah.
I would say if they feel like they're sort of juddering, check everything's tight.
Yeah. Slightly warped disc could make it go.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
I'd definitely check your calipers. I find that they do come loose a bit. One of those things definitely worth checking. And your brake rotors, they rattle loose a bit.
They do, yeah. I've had this issue before where I went for these cool looking discs and they're quite big and wavy. They weren't the original disc for the brake. And basically, where the disc did this crazy wave, it did that. Because there wasn't enough surface for the pad to grip to.
You don't necessarily need sort of Magura rotors, but what you do need is to make sure they're exactly the right size, 140 or 160, whatever, so that your brake pads are covering the disc fully. A few things to check there, but I'll definitely check all the bolts as well. Ross Mitchell, howdy guys. I have my dad's worn out late 90s bright yellow Trek 8000. Ooh. What would your thoughts be on converting that into a gravel bike? Rigid forks, smaller tyres, drop bars, maybe a dropper seat post. How would you go about this, and would it be an acceptable bike in the mountain bike community? Thanks, and I love the show.
Well, it's going to be super hip.
I think it'd be really cool.
I think it'll look really cool.
We do joke about this quite a lot in this office about gravel bikes basically being old mountain bikes, retro mountain bikes. I would do it. I think that's a great idea. My old bike is basically my commuter now. Yeah. Which is good. Put little tyres on it, bombs around town. Only thing about putting drop bars, I would say, is it's going to feel really short because mountain bikes are short.
Very short, unless you got a super long stem.
Could put a super long stem on it, but you probably find that it still feels, I don't know, it might be right actually, but that's what the difference in road bikes and mountain bikes is, the size wise to run drop bars. Why not?
It looked cool. Send us a picture.
Yeah, definitely. Zach Pilot. I'm looking to put a dropper post on my bike, but I don't know what to look for.
Zach Pilot asked us a question last ask.
Did he?
Yes.
All the questions.
All the questions.
A few things to look for. So you got to buy the right diameter. So there's a few different diameters. Insert length. I have done a whole video on this because it does get a little bit complicated when you're talking about stack height, so you get the right drop post to fit your bike. So check out the video. Yeah. There are a few considerations when it comes to getting the correct dropper post for your bike, but it's not too complicated and it's worth taking the time to make sure you don't buy the wrong one. So the first is to get the right diameter post for your bike. Now the easiest way to do this might be just to check out the website of your bike manufacturer, or sometimes the actual seat post has it marked on there somewhere. So just remove your existing post. Most modern bikes will fit dropper posts. They tend to be either 30.9 millimeters or 31.6, just like my New Proof Mega here. So I've got a 31.6 post that's going to fit this bike. As ever, leave your questions down below in the comments. Love them. More questions the better. Make sure they're good questions, of course.
Yeah, some nice ones, some non-techie ones.
Yeah. If you want to see if roadies can ride mountain bikes, I think we all know the answer already, but the video is over there.
Yeah. And if you want some essential beginner skills, click over here.
Give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell as well, because then you get notifications.
See ya.